China's relationship with Bitcoin is both fascinating and confusing. At one point, China was the leading country in Bitcoin mining across the world with the largest exchange volume, with most of the overnight millionaires made in 2017's bull run being from China. Then ICOs came along and things started to tank. Other cryptocurrency activities along with personal and non-personal endeavors started to rise. The CCP completely banned the cryptocurrencies to the point where you can't even promote or write about cryptocurrencies. And now they plan to release their own digital currencies. Welcome to Cryptopia, formerly known as Cryptonomics, where we highlight the empirical rise of cryptocurrency as it dominates the planet. Today, Bitcoin versus China. China, much like India in one of my previous videos, thinks blockchain technology is key to the future of the nation and the world. Like I said, they're even developing their own cryptocurrency, or digital currency. It's easy to see why China's taken an interest in this, and it's not for quicker financial transactions. Unmonitored cash movements is something every country deals with, no matter how big or small. China is a country that operates with empirical control and dominion. By having all the money circulating in the country on a blockchain that they can monitor, that means all the money being transacted they can track. I don't need to say more about how this can be bad, do I? I'll just say this, it's already illegal to say something bad about the leaders of China. Now imagine you say something bad and they cut off your funds till you learn some respect. Or don't. Doesn't matter to them. Ever heard of China's rating system? Credit system? As defined by the Chinese government themselves, they state the plan for implementation of the social credit system is due to be fully implemented by 2020. Once implemented, the system will manage the rewards or punishments of citizens on the basis of their economic and personal behaviors. It basically gives you a rating that tells people how much you're worth. It's like that one Black Mirror episode. Brief horror stories about it. 9 million people with low scores have been blocked from buying tickets for domestic flights. 3 million people are barred from getting business class train tickets. They'll even take your dog away. That's not a joke. But you're here for the history of Bitcoin in China, so let's get into it. October 21st, 2008, the publication of the white paper for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies begins. 2009, the Chinese government responded swiftly, banning all trading of virtual goods for real currencies. At the time, people in China were mining virtual gold for games, such as WoW and RuneScape. But it birthed a new market where the wealthier gamers would pay people to do all the work in their account to avoid doing the work themselves. Not such a big deal, but it implemented the idea and familiarity of virtual value. 2010 to 2014, China, much like everyone else during these years, sort of just stood by, scoping out the situation of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies as a whole without really doing much of anything. Banks and traditional domestic exchanges were banned from investing and trading Bitcoin in 2013, but other than that, 2010 to 2014 was pretty clear sailing for civilians. 2011 brought forth the first Chinese exchange, BTC China. 2013, Huobi Crypto Exchange emerged along with Bitmain following their lead. That year, even a Chinese foundation called One Foundation announced that it was accepting Bitcoin. Like wildfire, Bitcoin began to claim territory in the name of digital finance. But then in 2013, the Chinese central bank, along with 5 other government ministers, released a statement that Bitcoin could no longer be used for products and services, and that financial institutions could not buy or sell them, and declaring them illegal. Despite being declared illegal, it was only as a tender for goods or services, which means it could still be traded and mined. Low electricity costs and local manufacturing facilities that could create low costs, high efficiency mining hardware helped foster a Bitcoin mining environment in China. By August 2015, 4 Chinese Bitcoin mining pools accounted for about half of the Bitcoin network contributing supply. As Bitcoin dominance rose and the world started taking notice, we saw the rise of ICOs. Most of the world's largest crypto exchanges at the time were founded in China, and with initial coin offerings emerging, the beginning of the end of Chinese Bitcoin reign was beginning. Taking a deeper dive into 2016, another superpower lands in China for a meeting. The United States catches wind of the growing new digital money and the unusual financial structure. Bitcoin was meant to be decentralized, but despite the borderless currency, China held a large portion of it. through their companies, effectively taking majority control of the Bitcoin network. At the time of the meeting, over 70% of the transactions were through Chinese corporations, reaching beyond anything the West had. Well-known companies like Coinbase were part of those who traveled to China to address their concerns. The American delegation in China had a software proposal known as Bitcoin Classic in order to change things, but this was to no avail. The Chinese companies had the ultimate decision-making power in what changes were done to the software and did not want to do what the Americans asked. Basically, the American team of about half a dozen people cycled through its PowerPoint slides in English and Chinese, urging for the expansion of the network, most notably pointing to the long delays that have been plaguing the system as a result of congestion. The Chinese representatives listened and conferred among themselves, perhaps a gesture of respect or rather to show face. Regardless, the proposal was declined. At the beginning of 2017, Chinese ICOs had raised $400 million up to this point in the year, which prompted the Chinese government to do what they do and ban ICOs entirely on September 4th, and all funds and assets in ICOs were to be refunded and returned to the original investors. Apparently, this was due to high-risk nature of ICO. Halfway through September, another order was put into place prohibiting all Chinese crypto exchanges from trading crypto for fiat, prompting operations to move out of the country or into Hong Kong. In 2018, the Chinese government completed their ban by taking down crypto-to-crypto exchanges and over-the-counter markets, and then blocking access to out-of-country crypto exchanges and finally ICO websites using its Great Firewall. All crypto trading was now under embargo. Adding insult to injury on top of the ban, as Bitmain was slowly moving its operations elsewhere, avoiding regulations in the country became harder and harder. It hit the point where you couldn't even discuss crypto on WeChat, the Chinese WhatsApp. To no one's surprise, at least they shouldn't be, China is heavily bullish on blockchain tech, with China's President Xi praising Bitcoin as a successful application in 2019. He detailed the government would support blockchain research, development, and standardization. Now, this praise is definitely not because they want crypto for the people and like the idea of DeFi. It's because they want to release their own digital currency and distribute it through traditional means, banks. Their banks. And the blockchains they love so much would be controlled by the government, of course, meaning they can see every transaction you do and who you do it with. China's most recent assault on the crypto market comes from China's Inner Mongolia, which has recently banned cryptocurrency mining and declared it will shut down all projects by April. Despite being an autonomous region and a favorite among industry giants because of Inner Mongolia's cheap power, it will be banning current and new digital coin projects. According to a draft plan posted on the Inner Mongolia Development and Reform Commission's website, February 25th, the aim is to constrain growth in energy consumption to about 1.9% in 2021. As we were just discussing, the almost decade-long bombardment from the Chinese government against Bitcoin was starting to come to an end. And then this happens. The region now aims to cut emissions per unit of gross domestic product by 3% this year and limit incremental growth of energy consumption to about 5 million tons of standard coal, according to the draft plan. Chinese officials first outlined proposals in 2018 to discourage crypto mining. In 2019, Chinese National Development and Reform Commissions previously criticized Inner Mongolia for failing to control energy consumption. Since when does the CCP give a rat about that kind of environmental issue? Safe to say that 2018's plan is slowly working out as devised. Alright, and there you have it, the quick and dirty history of China and Bitcoin. It's not unlike India's history, but probably worse, plagued with misinformation, back and forth statements, and desire for control. China's world domination plan is in full swing as we in the West, or honestly anywhere else in the world, deal with race relations, civil wars, terrorists, and more. China is sitting back watching, delegating, and executing with ease and precision. The war on Bitcoin is only a tiny battle in their overall global conquest. Thanks for watching.